Hey guys, welcome back. Tonight we've got a Nintendo Switch Lite in the house that's having some issues with the joysticks. So went ahead, we ordered up some joysticks for him. We're gonna get those replaced, get them swapped out for the customer. It's actually just a little kid, and his grandma and grandpa have been kind enough to do this for him. So without further ado, we're gonna get into it here. I think my volume might be a little quiet, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn that up real quick. Just to show you what we're dealing with here. I did fully charge this earlier, so I can kind of show you guys what the deal is. So I'm fairly certain that the issue is with the right Joy-Con. It doesn't go to the left, it only goes to the right. You can see I'm pushing it to the left here, and that is washing out really bad on the screen there. No, you can't see that, but I'm trying to push left and it's not doing anything. Meanwhile, if I push left here, it does work. So we know that the left-hand Joy-Con works, but the right-hand one does not. Regardless, I am going to replace both of them, as it's going to be the most efficient way to take care of this. So we're going to go ahead and put this in. We're going to just turn it all the way off, and let's get started. Alright guys, so I'm back here. I've got the Switch flipped over. We're going to get the process started of kind of counting out the screws and what we have. So it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 tri-wing screws on the Switch on the back side here. We've got 2 Phillips down here at the bottom. Let's just make sure we don't have anything else. We've got 2 more at the top up here. And I think that's pretty much it for screws that are on the casing itself to get this thing taken apart. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the Phillips, just because I've got that bit in my screwdriver already. Hopefully it's the right size Phillips. And I need to remagnetize this guy so I can actually pull the screws out here. Or I'll just pull them out with my fingers, I guess. Flip it over. I do the 2 Phillips that are on the top. I personally have never worked on a Switch Lite before, but I can't imagine it's too much different from other handheld gaming systems. I've opened up a Joy-Con before for a regular Switch, and I actually have a Switch that is here and ready to be modded with the new Extreme Rate case, but I haven't gotten around to that yet either. Just life has been busy, you know? So we're going to finish pulling out the tri-wing screws. We got 1 left here. And then we should be able to get some separation on this guy just by gently kind of pulling at the casing. I have to imagine it would just kind of pop apart right here. There we go. So now I'm not using any special tools here, aside from my screwdriver, of course. But I am using my fingernail. So I'm going to go around the bottom first, because the bottom is going to be the easiest part to separate out. I'm just going to kind of insert my thumbnail there, what little thumbnail I have. And we're going to carefully set this back down and try to pull this away without damaging anything else here. So let's see. There is a game card in it at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and take that out too. Should have thought about that before. What are we playing? Minecraft, of course. Of course. We have to play Minecraft. That's a good game. Okay, so it looks like the buttons, the triggers actually stay there, which is good to know. And that's the back of the case right there. So, and what we're left with here is what looks like a little mini computer. So, it looks like maybe we'll have to go a little deeper to get to the joysticks, which that's something I was kind of worried about, was having to go a little deeper than I wanted to. But we got to do what we got to do, right? So I guess let's dig in. Most of these screws look like they're all Phillips, so I'm going to go ahead and switch back to that Phillips head screw bit here. And I can see that the Joy-Con is right here, or not the Joy-Con. I keep wanting to say Joy-Con just because it's what it is on the regular Switch, but the joystick goes underneath of the main board here, so it might require a main board removal. All right, well, let's start by getting this metal cover off the back here. Just kind of try to lay these screws out in a particular order here. Funny, the new joysticks that I ordered actually comes with a guide on how to do this. Or not a guide, but all the little tools that you would need to get into it. But I tend to not trust those too much just because my tools definitely work better. Alright, what are we stuck on here? So we've got the back metal cover. And I need that to come off, and in order to get that to come off, here's a screw right here in the middle. You don't want to fiddle or bend too much just because I do want to get to bed tonight, but I'm going to get this off, so I guess I'll just take the rest of the screws here out. They all look like they're the same size, so that's a good thing at least. Same size screws, keep it easy. Come on, metal cover on the back. There's another screw here for the metal cover on the back. And then I think we've got it. This one is definitely not the same length. It's gold and it's long. Alright, so now we're exposing the guts of the Nintendo Switch. So one of the first things that I always tell people to do when you're working on something like this is pull the battery. And the reason I tell people to do that is because the battery is, well, it's delivering juice to your Switch while you're not using it, and that's not what you want. So in order to pull that battery, though, I do have to pull this cable right here. Just so I can get that out. And then I believe the battery just kind of lifts up out of there. Let me try here. Well, it's glued in there. The connector might just lift out, though. Yep, it does. Sure does. Beautiful. Okay, now that the battery is disconnected, I feel a little bit better about proceeding, because I didn't really want to deal with a switch that was going to be turning on and causing problems. Okay. So, fact of the matter is, we've got two joysticks here. One is on the top on the right side here, so up towards this direction, and the other one is down here below. I don't know which is which, and I don't know, I think I'm going to have to pull the entire board out to do this procedure here. So, I'm just going to go ahead and get started taking some of these pieces out. The great part about this is if I do need to reference anything later, I can always just look back at this video and say, oh, that's how I took that apart. Don't know that that was necessary. Not thinking it was. I think I need to be focused more on the board screws themselves. I'll go ahead and put those back in for now. Because I don't know the actual procedure, this is going to take a little bit longer. I'm okay with that. I will get the Joy-Cons fixed up. Just a matter, or the joysticks fixed up. It's just a matter of knowing what to do. Okay. So, let's see here. We've got, it looks like a daughter board over here that connects over on this side. Why don't we start with this side, because this side is going to allow me to get to a joystick a little faster than having to take the main board out. So it looks like we've got two little ribbon connectors here, and that's for our power and volume buttons. One of them is, anyway. So I'll pull that out. And then we've got a screw holding this guy down. I'll take that out. It's another gold or bronze type screw there. And I'll start to pull that a little bit. That's good. Now, I have big fingers, so I'm trying to be very, very careful with this, because I don't want to break anything on this kid's Switch. I'm just going to wiggle softly on the connector itself and not pull on the wires. Never, ever, ever pull on the wires. If you didn't know that, well, let this be a lesson to you. Don't pull on the wires. Okay, I've got this part here disconnected. I don't know what that is. I think that connects that daughter board over to the main board. And then I'm pretty sure this is just the joystick connector here. So I'm going to go ahead and unscrew this secondary board here. These are good long screws. You can definitely tell that they attach to the frame of the Switch here. And there's that Joy-Con. So I don't know if this is the problematic one that I'm taking out right now or not. Looks like you can't pull this board out without pulling the L or R buttons out first, so I'm going to do that as well. Or at least the whole unit needs to come out first. There we go. And there's one screw left in here. One right next to that Joy-Con. Joystick. I keep wanting to say Joy-Con just because it's the phrase I know. Even though I know it's wrong. I think this one will be the easy one. Maybe I spoke too soon. I don't really know. One can hope. There we go. Okay, so where does this board go? Does it go underneath of things, or are we good to just pull up on it? Pull out towards the outside of the frame, and then you're good to pull up on it. Okay. Alright, so there's that joystick right there, the bad one. Now, actually that's not the bad one, that's the one that's okay, but we are replacing both of them, like I said, because, well, we got a pack of two, so no sense in not replacing it. So, there's that. It was still kind of gross looking. I mean, it's got a dent in it and stuff, and it looks like it's been beat up a little bit, so we'll go ahead and set that aside. Now, I'm going to open my trusty Amazon package here. And within the Amazon package should be our new buttons. They even have little caps on them, or caps with them if you want to add them on there. I think that one's the one for the proper side here. Go ahead and get that guy screwed back in on this side. The new one in place of where the old one was. Well, I'm going to try. I don't know that the non-broken one will fit through the hole. Oh, there we go. I got it in there. I got her in there. Non-broken one does fit through the hole. Okay, okay. So I've got that. I'm going to go ahead and grab my screwdriver here. Get this put back in place. Put that back down. So I have to hold this joystick in place while I screw it. Otherwise, it'll just want to pop back in because of the way that it's placed right now. Because obviously, I have the switch face down to do this. Okay. That is good. Good, good, good. Now I have to make sure that these ribbon cables come back up and stay out of the way. When I go to flip this back over and put it in place. That one's good, but I need to get the joystick one up too. Ay, ay, ay. I'm going to just hold that one right there. I'm going to pull this ribbon cable up. Let gravity do the work of dropping the board down for me. There we go. Thank you, gravity. Thou art a friend. Okay. Got that there. I'm going to go ahead and put this corner button back on, because that's kind of what secures the board in place up here. So many teeny tiny screws. And shaky hands. I'm not nervous, you're nervous. Okay. Okay, that's back in. So, this board here seems to be going okay so far. So far. Okay, so now to get this ribbon cable back in, I need to make sure that this is flipped up. Looks like it is, so should be able to slide the ribbon cable for the joystick right in there. I think we're in there nice and secure now. I'm going to flip this little latch down. And I've got this guy here that has to slide back into his little port. I'm going to use either side of the pair of tweezers to kind of wiggle him back in here. Just because I can't really get a good feel for whether it's in all the way yet. But it looks like it is, so I think we're okay. Okay, perfect. Well, that being said, let's go ahead and shove this ribbon cable back in here. And that's the one that connects the daughter board back to the main board. My watch is doing the stupid thing where it's sending me notifications, but it's not actually like showing them to me. Kind of annoying. When I go to flip my wrist, it doesn't actually show me what I'm supposed to be seeing. Okay, that cable is secure. It's pushed in all the way at least. Now, which way does this connector depress? Does it go this way? Go that way? There we go. It goes that way. Okay, and then we've got this guy right here. And actually I need to put some of these screws back in first, so let me do that. And hopefully I get them all back in the right place. Seems like it's straightforward because I try to map out the way that they come out on my little mat here, like roughly. So I have a relatively good idea, but it's not always super easy. Like that one, I wasn't sure if that one actually went there or not, but we put it there. So I think it does go there. I think it just goes through that piece. So I need to take it back out and wait until I get this put back in. Slide that back in along the bottom there. There we go. And then that screw goes through both of those back into the board and holds it nice and tight. All right, well that side was relatively painless. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over. So you can see now we got a nice new joystick on that side. And you can kind of see maybe a color difference. This is the original one. And you can actually kind of see the, you can kind of see the divot in it because it's so kind of browned as time has gone on. But the one over here, you actually can't see the detail on because it's shining so brightly off the light. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and flip this guy back over. Because the next one's gonna be way harder, and I am actually really nervous about that. I also think that I was supposed to shove that underneath of that ribbon cable. I think it's supposed to go underneath of this big plastic thing. I don't know how, but I think it's supposed to. Come on. There we go. That's how. Just like that. Ribbon cable secured. Okay, so back to it then. Anyway, let's go ahead and start working on pulling this board out of here, which I'm only looking for board screws at this point. But I'm going to have to remove a fan. I'm going to have to remove a whole bunch of stuff in order to get this loose enough to get out. So time to start really digging into it. I do still have this that needs to be run back through there. I will do that at a later time. Because obviously we need a power button. But right now I'm going to focus on getting this fan out of here and the fan screws out of here. I'm not going to worry about physically removing the battery from the shell right now because it's not 100% necessary. Oh, what the heck. We'll take the whole thing. I'm going to remove the screws from the thermal pad as well, or from the IHS thingy, the heat spreader. The reason I'm doing that is I'll just repaste it for him while I'm in here. No reason not to, right? You'll take care of your customers. Plus, it'll make removal of this thing, hopefully, a little bit easier on me. There we go. Again, not that it needs new thermal paste, but I'm doing it that way just so I can, when in Rome, right? So just think about it that way. This is far from Rome, but good to bear in mind. Flip the connector up on the fan. Don't make the mistake I almost did and accidentally rip the fan out. Remove the fan safely. Okay. So that brings us down to the board itself. So in order to actually get through things on the board itself, we're going to have to do some more removing of ribbon cables. This is definitely less tedious than working on an Apple product, but it's still a little difficult. So we're going to keep just pushing on, just because it's what we got to do in order to get this done. And I already kind of agreed to it. So, one, because this is going to give me the experience that I want in working on these. The total value of the repair that I'm doing in time spent alone is worth more than this Nintendo Switch is. But I'm not going to tell my customer that. It's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it so I can learn, and I'm doing it so that, well, you guys can get some good content. Because why not, right? And honestly, it's win-win if I can do both at the same time. Good content, and I learn. Wiggle, wiggle gently. This one is not as nice as the other side. It's not coming out as easily. Again, I don't really know what these are. This might be like a vibrating motor. I really don't know. I know that is stuck under the board right there. So probably going to have to wait until I get the board removed to do that. Figured I'd go for that next just because it was there, but maybe that's a dumb idea. Okay, headphone jack. That's going to come out. Amazing how all this stuff is modular, though. Need a new headphone jack? Drop it in. Gotta appreciate that about Nintendo's construction. It's funny, I really do like that about some PC manufacturers too. Lenovo, for example, it's like screwed in on their X1 carbons, like one of their jacks is, I think. And so it's all part of the same assembly, but super nice, super easy. You just undo a couple screws and it pops right out. Now those screws are a little different, but not too much different. So I'm hoping that I think the game cartridge and the headphone assembly all come out together. At least it looks like it. Yep, just like that. I'm going to set that on the desk up above there. Okay, so what we're looking at now is these are both the digitizer and LCD cables here for the touchscreen, and then the LCD screen itself. Again, more ribbon cables we just kind of have to gently pull out so we can get the board out of here. So I got to flip the little connector up. Hopefully just without breaking it. That's the idea anyway. Sorry, I'm going to have to shove my head in the camera here for a little bit. There we go. Boy, that connector was really tough to pull up, so that means it's not going to be very easy to put that back in. And we'll go ahead and lift this one as well. And pull the cable. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so now we've got, let's take this button up here out, because we know that has to come out in order to pull the board, because I'm almost 99% sure that there's going to be some stuff up there. 99. Okay, got that. Okay, so, yeah, I was right. There's a screw here, and there's the Joy-Con right there. Or the Joy-Con, the joystick. The joystick. Stick. Okay, joystick. I gotta use the right terminology. I'm gonna freaking go crazy here. Anyway, joystick there. Let's take these screws out. Taking some of these out should really start to loosen up the board. I'll move my tweezers off the mat here. Screw here. There we go. Honestly, I think we gotta be getting close, right? We gotta be. The silver screws aren't that long. I don't think. I don't think this one goes all the way through. No, it doesn't. We've established that already. It took that one out initially. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take these two screws here at the base out. I don't think they go all the way through either. But I'm pulling them anyway. They're just over the charge port. I'm going to be a little disappointed if I do end up having to take the battery out in order to do this, because I really didn't want to have to do that. Oh no. Screwdriver, don't roll away. There we go. Got that yanked up. I say yank lovingly. Go ahead and pull the cable for the joystick while I'm here, so I don't damage any connector. There we go. I don't feel like I can pull this out yet. And I feel like it's because of this plastic thing, which might be the home button. I don't know what that is. Ah, I missed a screw. I missed a screw, guys. Right there. One more. I bet it'll lift right out now. It'll be like, yep, let's go. Let's go. Yep, there we go. There's your main board. So set the main board aside here for now. And we'll go ahead and pull this button out. Or at least down and off to the side a little bit. Okay, so next joystick. It's time to replace that. Right there. This was the big time broken one. This is the one that definitely no longer functioned. Pull that guy out of there. Next broken one is out. And where's my baggie with my good ones? Right here, right here. Slide that guy back in there. It really isn't too bad if you can keep track of the screws and where they all go. I guess that's the caveat. If you would not touch this with your life because of the screws, I would not fault you for it, because it is a lot of teeny tiny screws. But let me just tell you this, if you can work on a MacBook, you can work on this. And that was kind of my logic in deciding to take on this task. Is I have also worked on Game Boys before and soldered those, and let me tell you what, it's a freaking walk in the park in comparison to a MacBook. So, where the screws are like 10 times smaller, everything is just, ugh. Ugh. I think there's that thing going around the internet right now is, ugh. That's how it feels to work on a MacBook. But they're good money makers, so, because their labor charge has to be higher. There we go. There we go. There we go. Actually, that's seated really well back in there. That's nice. I did have my one LCD connector try to play hooky here. Awesome. That went good. Oh, excuse me. It went well. There we go. There we go. Now that that's back in place, all is right with the world again, guys. All is right. Alrighty. So, let's get the one screw put back in over on this side of the board, where we know that goes for sure. Okay. I think the other gold screw here, I don't know if that goes there or not. Can't decide yet. I think it actually, I'm going to put, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put the joystick into the slot. Hey! I said it right this time. Joystick. Put the joystick back into its slot here. The new one. Man, wouldn't that suck if I put the original joystick back in and I'm like, get all the way through it and I'm like, no! I would totally do that too. Okay, that's done. Let's do this piece here next. That is a certainty. That screw goes there. Now, if you want to be safe and responsible, you probably use a screwdriver that isn't automatic. But I mean, I'm not being irresponsible by using an automatic one, but I'm certainly not being. I know what I'm doing because I've used it enough, I guess, is what I'll say about it. If you don't know what you're doing, just be careful. You can kind of feel when this thing starts to give some resistance, and I usually just let up a little bit on that, and then we're good. But I'm going to guess that this bronze screw goes up here in this hole. Looks like it would work there. These are the two screws that go with the charging port. I probably didn't need to remove, but I did anyway, just because they were screws and they were there, and I thought they needed to go. Okay, those are back in. All right. So I'm gonna guess, and yes, I'm guessing. I'm gonna guess that this one goes in here. And I guessed wrong. That gets a bronze screw. Yep. Sure does. So I have this little guy right here. I'm not sure what he goes to yet. I'll find out eventually. Nothing seems to be out of place though. Everything looks pretty good. So I said I was going to do the thermal paste. So my next step is basically I'm going to reinstall these ribbon connectors back into where they belong. I'll do that now while I'm talking about it. Brother, There we go. Flip that one down. This one, like I said, this one's going to be the pain in the butt because one, the connector was hard to flip up to begin with, and two, it's pretty wide. I'm going to actually turn the switch this way so I have a better access to it. And hopefully you guys can actually hear me and I don't have to do a whole lot of after video editing to get the sound right. Oh, come on now. I knew you were going to be a tough one, but I didn't realize you'd be this tough. Put the tweezer there. Pull it that direction and see if I can get it. Man, I almost feel like I need two of them. Two sets of tweezers, please. I think I got it in there. I'll go ahead and slide this down while holding this in place because it seems like it wants to come back up already. Wow, dude. If I get stabbed by this tweezers, I'm going to be a little upset. Be flexible with me, connector. Okay, I got it in there. It worked. It worked, guys. It worked. I'd like to thank all of you for your patience with me so far. Again, I'm learning. This is all new for me, so I do appreciate it. Okay, my next step here is going to be to clean this old thermal paste off and put some new thermal paste on for this little guy. So, here's some new thermal paste. We're going to use some MX4, and I'm going to get a couple of Q-tips. Go ahead and put some isopropyl 90% on here. And we'll do a little rub-a-dub-dub to get this old paste off. Now, isopropyl 90% is just fine. It evaporates so quickly that it's not going to leave traces of moisture in the switch. And it also is just super freaking effective too. So some people are really picky about what they clean their CPU off with, both on computers and on a Switch or game console or what have you. I have Q-tips. And if you don't like it, that's fine. I don't have to repair your device. I'll just keep working on everybody else's. So I like to give a good wipe with Q-tip. It does leave a bit of a residue. You come back in and you just hit it with that microfiber cloth real gently so you don't leave any fibers behind. And it shines up pretty nice. Okay, just like that. All right, you can see that CPU nice and clean now. Nice and clean, super shiny. Yeah, probably shouldn't shove that in the camera's face there. Okay, I need a couple more because I have to clean off the heat sink as well. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. I should be playing some like Mario music in the background because I'm working on a Nintendo product. Some Mario Kart music in my head right now. You all excited for the Switch 2, which we don't know anything about and aren't even sure if it's really a thing? Okay, see how nice and shiny that is? It's going to be great. It's going to be super great. Paper great. If you're an Office fan, you understood what I just said. If you're not, I'm sorry. Okay, so as opposed to applying the thermal paste onto the CPU directly, because I don't know exactly where it's going to land, I'm going to go ahead and apply a thin set of thermal paste right to the heat spreader, or the heat sink, sorry, because it's going to screw into place, and we want it to actually screw into place just fine. And I think we removed the fan first, so I'm going to put the fan back in, reinstall the fan first before I do I need my tweezers again. But yeah, I'm going to reinstall the fan, and then I'll put the heat spreader on, or whatever. Guys, if you knew, it's like 11:37 p.m. Central Time here, where I'm at right now, so I'm sorry if I'm using the wrong terminology. I get it right during the daytime. At night, just take it or leave it. It's actually in all the way. So some of these connectors for the different components on the Switch are very deceiving. And the reason that I say that is because they don't look like they seat all the way, but they are seated all the way. So yeah, just watch out for that, because if you decide to do this kind of repair at home on your own, you know, it's certainly doable, but I take no responsibility for anything that happens. Just watch those connectors, because a lot of them look like they're not in, but then they actually are all the way in, which I just find that to be really strange. Kind of an odd way to do it, Nintendo, but you do you. All right. I gotta get my screwdriver back in here. Okay, got that screw in. Now the fan screws, they're all the same. They're all the same. So pull this one, stick it down in here. Looking good. One more. One more. Did an excellent job at being consistent. They've at least got that going for them. Okay. All right, so the fan's back in now. I can put the heatsink in, but first I'm going to go ahead and put the headphone jack and game cartridge slot back in. I'll slide that into the connector. It just clips right down in place. What a beautiful construction. Just absolutely beautiful. Okay, so I was JK about the screws being the same on this, because they're not, but I remembered which ones were which. So I'm just going to go ahead and put them back where they belong. That goes there. Was I JK about that? Yeah, I was JK about that. I was just kidding. And I hope I'm not covering too much of this up for you while I'm doing the process. If I am, I'm sorry. My hands are big. And I gotta hold stuff in place while I work on it. So far, this has been really successful and honestly kind of fun because it's just something different, you know? So no complaints from me. It was a little tedious for a minute there, but we got through it. This kid's going to be so freaking happy too. Just because it's going to work so well. Well, I hope it works so well. I didn't do anything to make it not work so well, so we'll see. I'm putting everything back where it goes, with the exception of this one screw, which I still haven't figured out, but I will. Believe you me, I will figure out where that screw goes before the end of the video here. Or I'll figure it out at the end of the video. That's also a possibility. All right, time to put the Wi-Fi cable, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth antennas back in to their spots. These are always one of my least favorite freaking things to do because I have huge fingers. Oh, this on a Mac, way worse than any other device. Not even kidding. Like the connectors on a MacBook, right, for the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, they're actually smaller in how they connect than your cell phone. Because your cell phone runs these same little antenna cables. It's no different, right? But on a MacBook, they're actually smaller. On the newer ones, I should say. On the older ones, they're still normal. But they're smaller than your cell phone. Unless you have an iPhone, in which case they're like the same size. All right, that clicked in pretty beautifully. All right, so as I said, I set this aside and I already had the thermal goop on it. So we're going to go ahead and put this back on now. I'm going to flip it over this direction. And we're going to try and seat it down here on top of the fan first, because that's where it should be seated first. And then in doing so, we should line up easily with our holes over the CPU, which we do. And now there are 3 screws for that, and those are, oh shoot, I would almost think that those are those screws that are up there. I think they are, because I'm pretty sure I put that up there. I don't have any other 3 screw things. Yep, they're the right size. If they weren't, they wouldn't have even worked there. So and I'm going to just give this a good shove down onto that CPU there. Make sure that thermal paste gets in there. It looks like it's coming out the sides a little bit, so I think we're successful in our reapplication of the thermal paste there. Okay, guys, let's see. What's next? So most of the big stuff is done now. We've got a bunch of little screws left over here, which, you know, you shouldn't really have screws left over after you work on something. I know. A lot of these screws actually are because of this back cover here. And they actually applied thermal paste directly to the back cover, which I thought that was interesting too. They must be trying to dissipate heat off the back of the Switch itself by using this. I don't know. This, personally, I think this thing would just hold in more heat, but maybe it would melt the back cover without this. I don't know. So, alrighty. Well, let's go ahead and put ribbon cable back in here. Actually, I gotta put this down. I don't think I should reconnect the battery just yet. I'm gonna get the power button put back in place here. Get my tweezers. Turn the switch this way. You gotta have your precision fingers when you have fingers like me. And just to be certain that's actually in all the way, I'm gonna squeeze either side of this cable and pull in as I push down on that little latch there. Okay, well that's back in. Okay, so power button's reseated. We're good on that. I really want to put this little screw that's here, like right here, but I don't know if I should. Because is that where one of the other screws goes? No. Where did that little spare screw come from then? It's really throwing me, guys. It's really throwing me. I don't know. I'll have to watch it back in the video and see where it came from because I'm just dumbfounded. Maybe it goes right here. Right there? Yep, I'm going to say it goes right there. Because nothing else does. It obviously goes somewhere. Boom. Boom. Found its spot. Alright. Alright, so batteries next. I have to put that back in next because this ribbon cable goes over top of it. I think that's a little silly. But Nintendo made it that way, so I must respect it. I feel like you want the battery to be the last thing that anyone plugs in, because if they don't, then you're kind of screwed. If you plug something in just wrong, you can short things out. I don't like being the bearer of bad news when you're working through it all. You've done all that you can to make it work perfectly. Put in the hard work of taking the whole Switch apart just to have the battery shorted out. Like, how much would that suck? I've had that happen to me on a laptop I was trying to refurbish, guys. I took the laptop and I just needed, one of the things it needed was a new screen, right? And so I took the new screen and I installed it, but I didn't unhook the battery. And apparently I shorted out a circuit on the board where the screen would go in. Or one of the like power circuits on the screen. So the screen wasn't bad. The power circuit on the screen was fried though after that. There's voltage going through there for some reason. Oh yeah, and I suppose people want start and home buttons. I mean, I suppose that's of some importance, right? Those are way freaking easier to put in than they were to take out, that's for sure. Oh my goodness. Well, speaking for one side, I have sausage fingers, so it's hard to put it in either way. Oh yeah, this feels much better. I'm tempted to turn it on right now, but I'm also not because I don't want to break, like, I don't know. Here, let's turn it on. Let's see if it works. Nintendo. Super weird. Having an open Switch. Oh, yeah. Okay, the Joy-Cons work in both directions now, guys. Yeah, boys. Yeah, see that? Back and forth? It's perfect. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. This one's not? Wait. Okay, we're good. We're good. I wasn't looking at the screen. I was looking at the screen on the computer. And then when I was like not seeing it go back and forth, I'm like, oh no, but this Joy-Con works and this one also works. So we are good. Now I gotta turn it back off. Be brave. I think it's the far left button on the Switch to turn it back off. Yeah, I'll just press the touch. I don't want to sleep. Is it this guy right here? Back. Which button is power? I don't have it memorized. It's the one on the far left. Wait, I have to press and hold it. There we go. Power options. And turn off. And we are off. Okay, good. Good deal. Let's go ahead and put this back cover back on. I'll leave their thermal goop on it the way they had it. I'm not sure how important that is or how imperative it is that I get that back in place the way they had it exactly. So, okay. Now the trick's going to be, which screws go where? Ha-ha. I'll try out the gold ones here first. Okay. That went beautifully. And the rest of them are all the same size after this, so I'm not really worried about it after this one. I am worried about this one, though. Oh, yeah, that's not going great. Nope. That doesn't go there. Does it go here? Nope. That doesn't go there. Does it go here? Nope. Man, where does this one go? This one is tricky. Tricky, 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 tricky. I have this gold screw here, and I'm pretty sure it goes somewhere over here. Can't tell you where, though. Okay, whatever. I'm going to put that down and use the little ones here. Good, that one's in. Needs me to recommend, tell me that's tricky. It's tricky, tricky, tricky. That's back in. Easy peasy. This is actually going really smoothly. And if I only have one screw left over at the end, it's going to drive me a little bananas. But that's honestly, for it being the first time I've ever done this repair, I'm kind of proud of it. Like, I've never done this repair before, so I'm going to look for that empty screw slot, though. See if I can find it. I can't find it, though. I literally can't find it. It must not be super duper important if I can't find it after the fact. Okay, well, it's one screw. I'm not gonna freaking lose my mind over it. I am gonna go ahead and put this guy back together, though. So we're gonna start by doing the top down, because the top is where all the headphone jack is and all the drama of the console is. See if we can do this properly. If I can do this part, I can do anything. Honestly, not a terrible repair. Would definitely do another one. It was fairly simple, kind of fun, something different. I mixed it up with it, you know. Pretty happy. Heck yeah, man. All right. We'll go power options and turn off. I like to turn things on periodically just to make sure that I've got it done right, that the buttons function after the fact, you know, that I haven't screwed anything up that majorly. So that's kind of why you saw me just turn it on again there. Just wanted to make sure everything was still functional. Why is this screw not sticking to my freaking... Oh yeah, these ones weren't magnetic. I do recall now. They were a huge pain in the butt. My freaking go-to is just to stick the screw to this screwdriver and then screw it in from there. But I can't because they're not magnetic. Still gotta take my sausage fingers and dry fit them, and then I can go ahead and push it together. Alright, now I'm gonna switch my bit to the tri-wing bit here. And we'll drop these last 4 screws back in here, and then this switch is done. It's not awful. Just consider if you want to do this, you are going to have to do a bit of tedious work to make sure that things are working the way they're supposed to. You know, obviously, you want to be sure that things are fully operational from a mechanical standpoint with the Joy-Cons and everything, but Joy-Cons, joysticks. See, I was doing fine, and then I messed up again. Joysticks, but then also just make sure that your other functions work, like your sound and changing your, just kind of everything about it, you know. You don't want to do anything that's going to compromise any bit of your Switch. So, and his audio definitely still works, which is good. Go ahead and slide his Minecraft game back in there. And it looks like the cartridge was detected. Good. Elliot, yep. Minecraft. Okay. Screenshot buttons work, so we're good on that. Okay, perfect. I'm not going to ruin his game or anything. We're going to go ahead and close it. Well, that's what I was going to do anyway. Anyway, this repair's all done. It was successful. I'm super happy. We got rid of the old joysticks out of there that were broken and junky, and now little Mr. Elliot's going to have some fun enjoying his Switch once more. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you being here. It was a good time, and definitely educational for me. Also, if you like this video, feel free to go through, check out my other videos. Definitely like this one, and click that subscribe button, because I could use some more subscribers. I'm just kind of getting started on all this.